I was taking my beautiful Dodge red van for a little camping trip, just to get away, go exploring around, and vaguely remembered a fellow that I knew a while ago, and went to see if he was still where he was, and I did find him and discovered that he had this dog in a cage in his garage. And wanted to spend as little time dealing with him as possible, and told him I was going to take the dog. And so I did. It was very quick. And I put her in my van and took her first to an Agway shop in New York State. And several people, total strangers, helped me get her out of the van and into a tub and get her cleaned up. She was all covered with black, nasty, crappy stuff. We had to use a spoon to get the stuff out of her ears. She was just a total mess. And then the next day, I have a sister-in-law in Middlebury, Vermont, and we took her in, stayed the night there, and took her into a vet in Middlebury, not knowing if she was coming home with me or I was leaving there to be put down. The very first pictures that we have are that morning in the van on the way to the vet, and then the next pictures on the red mattress is when I brought her home, which was Monday night. I got her back to Bath on Monday night. And she'd been with me for 36 hours, 48 hours, something like that. And there was something, the vet said that her heart and her lungs were good, and the kidneys were functioning, and they did a quick blood test and a skin biopsy kind of thing. It was a nasty infection. They gave me some medication. Then I brought her to my vet here in Bath, and Sunray Animal Clinic, who has been absolutely magnificent. We're helping her out. And that's how it started. And I suppose I was thinking along the lines of maybe I'd just take her to a shelter and drop her off somewhere. And then there was something about the way she looked at me. Meltdown, and here I am, almost 81 years old with a brand new job description. Nobody consulted me about this 24-hour intensive care gig that I was about to embark on. Nobody asked me, and I have no regrets, absolutely no regrets. She's just turned into a wonderful, wonderful. What I said in the beginning was that there was an incredible spirit looking for a dog to live in. In the very beginning, I got her home, and she couldn't walk. The only way I could get her to move would be to put a towel underneath her like a sling and hold her up. She was hungry beyond belief. I was feeding her, 4 or 5 times a day, maybe more, with some good quality wet food with no grain. And I would take her out to do her business, holding her up with a towel. One of the most amazing things is that right from the beginning, when she couldn't even walk, she's never made a mess in the house, somehow. And I had to hold her head up off the pillow to get her to eat because she couldn't hold her head up. But she sort of kept looking at me, and I think it was probably a week or 10 days before she wagged her tail. She just couldn't, there was no energy. I had medication for her. I had to try and figure out how to get pills into her. Pretty much, it was intensive care. And 5 or 6 times a night, I'd try to get her a little bit of water. I'd have to hold her head up and put the bowl in front of her. She couldn't lap water. She couldn't do anything. Gradually, she just started getting stronger and eating, and she'd see me coming, and the ears would flatten down, and there'd be a little bit of a wiggly tail. And a lot of just cleaning up and trying to keep her clean. I was taking her to the little shop in Bath and shampooing her a couple of times a week. had to be done, and she was cooperative. She always cooperated, even though she didn't like the meds, and she figured out the hollow hot dog in a matter of seconds. So I tried egg salad, and I tried cheese bits, and I melted it in pieces of cheddar and made a pierogi out of it. So there was no, and she figured it all out. So finally, we had to go to very expensive liquid meds that you would do with a syringe. And she'd look at me, and she'd sort of, oh God, here we go. But she let me do it. And I felt like the bad guy. Here I'm forcing her to do something that she hates, and she knows she hates it, but it had to be done. And she sort of, I suppose she was smiling at me. I don't know. But also, it was probably 6 or 8 weeks before I heard her bark. And I don't know if she maybe had been scolded for barking. And now she barks at everything. She lets me know when the mailman gets there every day. I guess I'm alert all the time, which is great. That's what it's better than the doorbell. A little more expensive than the doorbell, but it's a very effective doorbell. Well, the fan club has been absolutely extraordinary mostly through Facebook, and it's been helpful beyond belief because I don't know the numbers, but it's been a lot of money, and people out of the blue. I know who they are now because they put their address on the check, but I got checks from people for $100 out of the blue. I have no idea who they are, and anonymous gifts to Tractor Supply for food, and it's just been outpouring. It's been unbelievable. I absolutely couldn't have done it. I wasn't ready emotionally or financially to even consider this, and it's been enormous. The support's been unbelievable. And I've been just today I sent out some pictures, and I got 55 likes on a picture that I sent out on the thing today. That's wonderful. I'd take her on gigs. She went with us to Washington D.C. and was right on stage with us at the Thomas Mosier showroom. We did a concert there, and she was right on stage with me there. I did a concert with Paul Sullivan at his place up and she walked into I had to go off stage a couple of times I put her blanket next to where I was going to be sitting. And then from off stage, I just told her to go lie down, and she trot up on stage all by herself before I got there. And my standard thing is, if people say, "Is that your dog?" and I say, "No, it's my friend," and it has nothing to do with ownership. I mean, it's not like I could say, "Well, yeah, okay, well, I'm tired of this dog, I can sell it or give it away." No, can't do that. It's family. And I feel very, very strongly like that it's not ownership. It has nothing to do with